everyone, it's Stephanie and welcome back to my channel. So today I have recent reads numbers 71 through 80. Finally getting a little caught up. So let's just jump in. Number 71 was Long Overdue at the Lakeside Library by Holly Danvers. This is book number 2 in the Lakeside Library mystery series. I have decided to officially DNF this series. I usually, if I'm not a huge fan of book 1, I'll continue with book 2, just because sometimes book 1 is a setup, so I'd like to give, a second chance. The overall mystery was pretty good, but the dialogue was so cringy and unrealistic. I didn't have any connection with the characters. I didn't care. And I didn't click with her writing style. So I'm not going to continue on. I feel like other people would really enjoy this. It's just not a series for me. Next, I read Lost Coast Literary by Ellie Alexander. This is a magical realism book. Normally, Ellie Alexander writes cozy mystery series, but this was completely new. It's the first book on her new independent press, Sweet Lemon Press, LLC, and I was fortunate enough to get an e-arc in exchange for a review for this, and I absolutely loved it, which I knew I would. I love Ellie Alexander. So we have book editor Emily Bryant, and she gets the keys to her grandmother's Victorian mansion in the town of Cascada in California. In order to inherit the estate of her grandmother, she has to edit old manuscripts that her grandmother had. She had her own business called Lost Coast Literary. She realizes that there's something different about these manuscripts as she's editing them, and any changes she makes to the manuscript come true in real life. And at first she embraces this because she has a chance to help people find true love or maybe take a new path to their future. And then things go terribly wrong and her edits have the opposite effect. And things go from there. I loved the funky seaside community vibe in Cascada. I just thought that was so much fun and such a great setting. And Emily has to find out how to fix the damage that she's done. So I just really like this. I thought the writing was really well done. I love that the mystery in this book isn't a murder mystery. It's more of the main character investigating the past and learning what happened before her. The pacing was really good. The writing was so atmospheric, and I found myself laughing and crying with the characters because I just connected with them so well. The magical elements in the story are integrated really nicely in the plot. It didn't feel jarring at all. It was very seamless. And I really want this to turn into a series because I just loved it so much. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I have enjoyed everything that I have read by Ellie Alexander, and this was no exception. And I just think this was just a really sweet, happy, uplifting book. Next, I read Deadly Vows by Jodie Halford. This is book 2 in the Britton Bay mystery series. We follow Molly Owens, and she is the editor-in-chief of the local newspaper. There's a wedding going on in town, and the rising star caterer is found dead. And then the bride-to-be goes missing. And to make matters worse, the venue is owned by Molly's new boyfriend's mother. And Molly was one of the last people to see the victim alive. So things get a little sticky. I, again, really enjoyed this one. I just love the way that Jodie Halford writes her characters and how she makes the setting of Britton Bay kind of a character in itself. And I love the relationship between Molly and her boyfriend and her boyfriend's mother. I just think it's really sweet and I love it. So I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars, and I really am excited to continue on with the series. Next, I read Eyelet Witness, which is book number 4 in the Bonnie and Clyde mystery series by Julianne Lindsay. I'm just going to say it, Julianne Lindsay is officially, with a capital O, my favorite cozy mystery author. Every single one of her books is just fantastic, and this series is such a good series. Such a good series. So, we follow Bonnie Balfour and her cat, Clyde, Bonnie and Clyde, and she runs a second chance dress shop where she makes, turns things from shabby to chic, so to speak. So she's helping a local entrepreneur decorate her souffle stand startup, and the client, Thelma, has a hen, Louisa. So feathers begin to fly when her client, Louisa, her ex-boyfriend launches a dispute over Thelma, the hen's, legal custody, only hours before the hen goes missing. And shortly after that, the ex-husband's body is discovered in a local lake. And Bonnie and Clyde get involved in the murder mystery to help clear Louisa's name. And I just thought this was so much fun. I absolutely love the characters. I love the town of Bliss, Georgia. Every single one of the books in the series have been so much fun and a blast to read. So I obviously gave this 5 out of 5 stars. Highly, highly recommend. Next, I read Borderline by Michelle Baker. This is book 1 in the Arcadia Project. It's an urban fantasy that I read for the Space Sirens book club. This one was a really interesting book. We follow the main character, Millie. She lost her legs in her budding filmmaking career in a failed suicide attempt. And then she gets a second chance with the Arcadia Project, which is this secret organization that polices the traffic to and from a parallel reality. In her first assignment, she has to track down a missing movie star who also happens to be a nobleman of the Sealy court, and so she has to kind of use her connections to navigate through Hollywood to find out what happened. So I thought it was really interesting, the combo between urban fantasy and mystery, and I thought this was such great rep with mental health, particularly borderline personality disorder, which I didn't know as much about, so I thought it was very well done. And I really enjoyed following Millie's thought processes. I thought they were very relatable, and I liked learning about how she sees the world and the people around her. And I love that even though Millie is in a wheelchair, that doesn't define her and it doesn't hinder her from what she wants to do. She's a go-getter, and I love that. So yeah, I just thought this was a really good one. And it's one that has really stuck with me. I've never read anything quite like it before. I really don't read that much urban fantasy, but I just thought this was such a cool concept, and I thought the execution of it was very well done. And I read books 4 through 7 of the Second Chance Cat Mystery Series: Telling Tales, The Fast and the Furious, No Escape Clause, and Claw Enforcement. This is set in North Harbor, Maine, and we follow Sarah Grayson, who owns a second chance shop, and her rescue cat, Elvis, and they solve mysteries together. I loved every single installment that I read so far, and it's just such a fun series. Please go check it out. They're just fantastic. And finally, I read When Bonnie Met Clyde, which is a prequel to the first book in the Bonnie and Clyde mystery series. So, like the title says, we learned how Bonnie met her cat Clyde, and I gave it 5 stars. It was really sweet and just a lovely little story, and it was just what I needed at the time. So, have you read any of these? If so, let me know, or let me know what you thought. If you'd like to leave an emoji but don't really have anything to add, drop a book emoji down below. As always, if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.